Hello, listeners. Welcome to our show called Cash versus Card, What Most People Don't Know About Using Cash. We have today's guest, Bruce, with us to discuss the importance of using cash for our transactions. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Glinda. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. So let's dive in. Can you explain to our listeners why it's important to pay cash instead of using a credit card?
Absolutely. When we use cash, the amount remains consistent throughout all transactions. For example, if you pay with $50 in cash at a restaurant, that $50 bill will essentially remain unchanged as long as it stays in cash form throughout all subsequent transactions. It fulfills its purpose to everyone who used it for payment, and there are no bank fees for using cash. Banks don't make money off cash transactions.
That's interesting. What happens when we pay digitally?
Well, when we pay digitally using a credit card or another method, there are transaction fees charged to the seller. These fees can be around 3%. Consequently, after several transactions, that initial $50 shrinks significantly due to the repeated transaction fees that go to the bank.
So it sounds like using cash is not only beneficial for consumers, but also helps small businesses. How does this play out over time?
Yes, you're right. On a larger scale and over time, if small businesses have many sales paid by cards, they end up paying thousands of dollars in fees annually. This takes away from their income and makes it more difficult for them to support their families or grow their business.
Wow, I had no idea. Thank you so much for sharing this information with us, Bruce. As we conclude today's short discussion on cash versus card, do you have any final recommendations for our listeners?
I'd say that we should all be conscious of using cash whenever possible, especially when supporting small businesses to help lessen the financial burden imposed on them by transaction fees. Let's start paying with cash instead of using our cards on most occasions, even if it's just taking out small amounts at a time.
Absolutely great advice. Thanks, Bruce. And that's a wrap for today's show. This show was brought to you by A3 Digital Studio, making digital assets to enrich your lifestyle. To get in touch with our sponsor, please visit their website at a3digitalstudio.com. Thanks for tuning in.